So viewer's choice number 2, it comes from Jeff. You're going to see Jeff next month on the channel. He's coming to Norwich to be my next victim, to be my driving assessment. He's coming to see what his skills are like, and I'm sure they're very good. I'm very much looking forward to meeting Jeff. We've arranged the date now, so you'll see him next month on the channel. Jeff's 67. He has been driving for 50 years. That's an amazing figure. And Jeff is also ex-army. And the first date I offered Jeff, he can't do because he's getting a tattoo. I think, Jeff, you sound fantastic. Ex-army, tattoos, great driver. What more do you want, eh? Now, Jeff has sent in his viewer's choice. His daughter has, I think, not long passed her driving test. Fantastic. But she's been taught to essentially keep the clutch down and keep in first gear when waiting. Jeff is very keen that, when he stops the car, he will hold it on the handbrake and he will put the car into neutral and relax the clutch. And he's a bit, I suppose, surprised that his daughter is keeping the clutch down, first gear. So we're going to explore this from the two sides that it needs to kind of come from. And the first side is, it is much better for your clutch to not hold the clutch down and keep in first gear. It's your clutch release bearing. I am not going to lecture you on mechanics because I understand enough to get by, but I am absolutely not a mechanics channel. I am a driving instructor channel, and driving instructors, we don't need to be mechanics. We do need to understand what is good and bad for our car, of course. So if you're sat with your clutch down in first gear, your clutch release mechanism essentially is not in its rest position, it is working. And all you need to understand there, if you're as mechanical as I am, is that you are wearing out that part of your clutch, and it's going to encourage early failure. By going to neutral and relaxing your clutch, it's safer. You're not going to accidentally, if you're learning, this is a big one, accidentally leave it in the wrong gear, which happens all the time. And your clutch is now completely rested. So my old Vauxhall Corsa, Vera the Vauxhall, may she rest in pieces. She's probably in a scrapyard by now, but I sold her on 201,000 miles. And she was still on her original clutch. I didn't have to change any major components on that car, and it really does show that if you treat a car well, that was learner miles as well, but it was still on the same clutch because I do try and encourage things like this. From the driving instructor point of view, we are here to teach the basics. We spend on average with a pupil about 40 hours with a pupil before they pass their driving test. And in the grand scheme of things, that really is not a lot. It's not a lot at all. And you cannot put, in my case, 22 years of driving experience into a pupil's head in 40 hours. What you are there to do is to teach the basics very, very well so that they can leave you and have a really good chance of being safe. Interesting one there. Smiler Bob, will get to your video as well that you've requested, and that was exactly what we were seeing behind us there. Now, I would argue that, yes, of course, basic economy of your car definitely is there, but it isn't a priority. And therefore, and when the clutch is pressed, the clutch plates are not together. So there's a very real chance that there are some driving instructors that actually don't think there's any wear and tear, apart from maybe the springs going on at that point in time. But yeah, it's your clutch release mechanism that you're wearing out. With learners, if you've got an instructor that does understand, you're not always going to push them to go to neutral when someone like Jeff would. Jeff will be very experienced. If I'm and myself, if I'm the first at a traffic light, I will go to neutral. And that's because I'm comfortable enough to get back into first gear, move the car on very quickly, no problem. And of course, I can generally predict when the light is going to change. I do teach this with learners, but they've got to build up their experience. To show you a couple of clips from lessons, so this didn't have the audio. This is actually King Seth on his way to his driving test. Now, Seth, we haven't particularly pushed him to get into the habit of this. Certainly not when he's first at the traffic lights. That again, you probably won't find many instructors push the learners when they are first at a traffic light to be out of gear. But because it's the last time I'm going to see Seth, I pushed him to do it here. I said, look, give it a go. And Seth gave it a go, and you can see the result is when he gets the light, it's green, and then we take quite a while to get moving, and then a lot of learners will stall at this point as well, and we start disrupting the flow of traffic, which is always, it's one of our biggest priorities, is we're managing the risk, and therefore we're trying to make sure we don't cause inconvenience to other people. So you can see, you know, hopefully from a driving instructor's point of view, why we don't always get to a point with a learner where we can push them when they're the first at a traffic light to actually put themselves into neutral. If you think about how our brains work, and I've talked about this is another thing you'll hear me mention a lot on this channel, that the fact we can only have one conscious thought at a time. If you think of a learner moving a car away, so you've put them in neutral in a situation, they've got to think about clutch down, first gear, find the bite, add the gas, remove the handbrake, keep the feet still as I do that, add a little bit more gas, slowly raise the clutch, and that's 8 different thoughts a learner has to have in order to get a car moving. And that is something that will be, of course, very, very simple to more experienced drivers, but not so much to a learner. In good time, they will do more. On longer occasions where we're waiting, even very nervous learners, yeah, absolutely, get them in neutral, get them to understand what they are saving, if you like. You know, you're saving your clutch. That's as simple as you need to put it with a learner. How much does a clutch cost? Oh, I don't know. Get that conversation going, then it makes them think about how they can preserve the life of certain things. But what I was doing with Seth there, and we agreed at the end, so even though he took ages to move off, he understood that that's something that he should be pushing himself to try and do. And when he feels comfortable to, he can do exactly that. And so although he hasn't left me with the skill, remember you're going to hear me talk about Kusa a lot. Oh, I left it in second gear there, little devil, didn't I? See, we all make mistakes. But because Seth hasn't left me with the skill just at this point to be able to do this, he has left me with the knowledge, the understanding of why he should be doing it, and the attitude to go and, yeah, I'm going to make sure I'm trying to push for that. But that's something that, you know, hopefully Jeff can now start working on and pushing his daughter to be able to do it. You know, when learners leave us, if you think with my learners, they've generally driven once a week. So they are very, very slowly building up their experience. When they then pass the test, most of them will be driving most days. And so their experience level starts to really grow very, very quickly. And these are the sorts of things that they can then go and push themselves to do a little bit more. Other footage from a lesson. So this is actually a girl, I mean, it's Sarah, we're only on about the 5th or 6th lesson. And she was practicing emerging onto an A road. So that's quite a big thing for a learner because you're talking much heavier speed, etc. See after that last car, let's get first gear now. Find the biting point so you're ready. We're gone. Excellent, happy with that. So you're just getting set a little bit more anticipating. Well done. Good, nice, good reps there. See if once you've changed you can get that gas as you come through the bite. And what you can see is there, so we've had, it was pretty busy, it doesn't look it at the time admittedly, but it was pretty busy. We'd had a little bit of a gap, so I encouraged her to put the handbrake on and go to neutral. That's only her 5th or 6th lesson, and you can start to push it really, really early, and try and build the confidence in actually, you know, actually doing this a little bit more. So hopefully that addresses, you know, why it might be happening in terms of learners not particularly being encouraged. But like now, you might not get a learner to go to neutral. I would try and encourage them. It depends on their level. The crossing's actually taken a bit longer than I thought it would, to be fair. But a learner will panic. A lot of them will panic if they're second in the line there, and you go, oh, I've got to go neutral for me, handbrake on. and a lot of them will panic because they're quite close to the line. It's busier, etc. So depending on the learner there, you may or may not encourage them to do it. As an instructor, I take a little bit of hit on my car. I'm trying to build economy in, but I am taking a bit of a hit in that you're going to leave it in potentially first gear a bit more than I would. But wonderful. It's a really good one to debate, definitely. It's a really good one to sort of have a little video on. It's absolutely correct to try and push people to get into neutral more. But sometimes just needs a bit of experience. So thank you, Jeff, for sending that in for viewer's choice number 2. I am getting slowly through the other ones that have come in. And of course, if you get any ideas or things that you'd like to see, then do send me an email.